time. It's the one resource we can never get back. And it's one of the main reported reasons for people not starting, much less maintaining, a regimented exercise program. As you know, my mantra on this channel is consistency is a superpower. One of the tools that I use to maintain my own consistency are what I refer to as small workouts. In this video, I'm going to share with you how I utilize frequent small workouts to easily maintain and in some cases improve upon my performance while maintaining a hectic lifestyle. Okay, so first of all, what do I mean by small workouts? Let's make sure we're on the same page in terms of definitions. So what I consider a small workout to be is just a fraction of what my complete workouts would be. So my complete training format looks something like this. Currently what I'm doing is a push-pull legs split with 60 total sets. That's my current MRV, with doing cardio and abs every day. So under ideal circumstances, my week would look like this. So 20 sets of push, 20 sets of pull, 20 sets of lower body, equaling 60 sets total. And then each workout, I usually do 4 exercises, 5 sets each. I'm a tactical athlete, so strength endurance is my thing. And then, of course, that is following my conditioning and my daily abs, lower back work in order to keep my spine going so I can do the rest of the training and enjoy my day-to-day life. So that's generally what my full week would look like, but that is contingent upon all the other stress inputs that I'm getting day-to-day as well. How well I recover, how much I'm eating, specifically what I'm eating, work-life stress, travel, all that stuff. Those weeks are few and far between. So what this past week has looked like, and what most weeks usually look like, are the small workout reconfiguration of that split. So as you can see here, it's still a push-pull leg split. However, my frequency is a lot higher. I'm training each push-pull and lower body session twice a week, so 6 lifts total with only 10 sets each, 2 exercises, 5 sets per exercise. And then that 7th day where I don't lift, I kind of keep that in my back pocket for one of those days where like I got to get up early and cut out some sleep, or something crazy happens and the previous day was a little bit stressful, so I'm going into the day with some residual fatigue, and it's just really not worth it to add to that by tossing a lift in there, even only a 10-set one. So I'll just do my conditioning, my abs, and get out of there, because that is not very, it doesn't add very much to my cumulative stress volume. In fact, in a lot of ways, it is de-stressing, not distress, but de-stressing as in remove stress from me. Let's get into the X's and O's of how I construct each individual workout. So it's only 2 exercises, usually a primary movement and a secondary movement. So for instance, today, which I'll post later in a short, I did lying hamstring curls and then some calf raises. So the theme, as I've been doing quite often lately, is a knee support lower body small workout. My last pressing session looked something similar to that, where I did incline dumbbells as the main movement, and then I did machine lateral raises as a secondary for shoulders. Then pulling, I typically do like a row and a pull down, but you could do like a row and a rear delt exercise. You could do 2 lat exercises. You could do pull downs and something for your shoulders. You could do a row and a bicep curl. So think to yourself, primary movement, like how you would regularly start your training off with, and then secondary movement, something that you also want to work on, but it's not necessarily super fatiguing, like calves or biceps or side delts or even lats, really, you know. You can just kind of pile on the volume and not accumulate too much fatigue from that. Now, generally what I like to do is I like to run the same movements both sessions for a couple weeks in a row to really bake in that stimulus. So like the past probably 3 weeks now, instead of doing split squats, I've just been doing hamstring curls and calves, hamstring curls and calves, hamstring curls and calves to really kind of force that stimulation, because every 3-4 days I'm hitting it again. That's one way of doing it to kind of maximize the muscle stimulus. Now, if you're starting to kind of wear on those tissues, specifically the connective tissues involved in those movements, that's where the value of having a candidacy list of other movements that are amenable to your structure, your psychology, your training style, however, comes into play. If lying hamstring curls start bugging me, then I might do, RDLs, or I might do seated hamstring curls. So I have a bunch of different movements that I can plug and play in that primary lower body knee support hamstring movement slot. I don't have to just do lying hamstring curls for the rest of my life. I mean, hamstrings is kind of a simple one because there's only so much you can do. There's hip hinges and knee flexion. But when it comes to back, specifically like mid-back, so your horizontal pulls and your vertical pulls, there's so many different grips and attachments and angles. And then, of course, you have all your hip hinges for back as well. You have pendlay rows and, bent rows, different kinds of those, deadlifts, rack pulls, all kinds of stuff. So you want to have a list of various movements that you know how to do well, you feel, are stimulative for you, and then just plug and play those. And if you don't like running them, consecutive weeks, you can switch them up. Now, if you're going to do that, it requires you to make sure that each session counts a lot more, because you're not going to have the same stimulus repeated as often. So what do I mean by that? If I'm doing lying hamstring curls like every 4th day, then I don't have to take it all the way to failure. I can just kind of do light, high volume, 2-3 RAR, like reps in reserve, as in a proxy for how close to failure I'm getting. I can just do that, sub-maximal work, and still get a tremendous stimulus from it because I repeat that signal very often throughout the week. If you're going to do we'll go back to back. If you're going to do, for instance, like hammer strength rows 1 week, and then as your primary movement, and next week you're going to do like bent rows, and then the next week you're going to do T-bar rows, and then the next week you're going to do seated cable rows. Yeah, they're all horizontal rows, but the stimulus is slightly different. So if you're going to switch it up every session, I very strongly recommend you train that movement significantly harder, like at a minimum 1 to 2 RAR, but probably like failure to 1 RAR to really hit it hard that one time a week that you do it. Now, you need to be careful with that, though, because that can defeat the whole purpose of this high-frequency, lower volume training in the first place, which is to spread out the fatigue so that in aggregate, you get the same amount of work done, but less accumulated fatigue per session. So is this like the ultimate optimal training plan to be as jacked as possible? Like, no, absolutely not. But number one, that is not my particular goal. And number two, it's sustainable. And that's key. What this is, folks, fundamentally is just a time management strategy, but applied to your exercise program. I prioritize my conditioning because that's essential to sustaining my good health. That being said, I cannot neglect the importance of my resistance training as well. By breaking my lifting into small workouts, I not only ensure that I get sufficiently stimulative training every week, but I also still have plenty of fuel in the tank for whatever curveballs life or work happen to throw my way. So remember, folks, the best workout isn't necessarily the most optimal one. The best workout is the workout that you can do consistently, because consistency is a superpower. So stay in the fight. Thanks for watching.